Hey, how you doing? It's David. Um, so it's been a year, 365 days since the last time that I was with her. And just saying those words and even thinking about it, um, it stings. Stings a little bit. Um, doesn't just sting a little bit, it stings quite a considerable amount, actually. Kind of burns. But, for the past year, I've been sort of documenting my journey dealing with this heartbreak, I guess you could say. I don't like using that word. Um, I don't know, sounds corny to me, but that's what it is because I literally felt at some point that my heart just kind of shattered. Um, don't really know how to describe it. I don't really remember it too well, but you know, I just felt it. And anyways, she was a lot of things to me. She was never just she never just played one role in my life, and she meant a lot to me. She was first and foremost my best friend. Um, though she didn't want to call me her best friend because I don't know. She already had other best friends, and she didn't think she could have more than one or something like that. I don't know. I don't really know. She didn't give me an explanation. Um, that was before we you know dated a little bit. But anyways, she, like I said, she was first and foremost my best friend. She was my pillar that held me up. She was the light in a very dark room that I needed to get out. She was the star that lit up my galaxy. Though that might not be, astronomically correct. You know, I don't think a star can light up an entire galaxy, but she managed to do so. She was my star. And she was also the woman that I fell in love with. And I don't regret it. And if you ever watch this, Jenny, um, you know, I know I joked a lot about being a masochist and such, but it really hurt me, um, when you called it quits. Um, I don't know. Didn't think, didn't think you had it in you to actually, hurt, you know, but you did, and it still hurts a lot. But moving on, she and I, we met in high school during our sophomore year. Um, I've told the story before, probably, most definitely in the other videos, but she would try to get my attention somehow. But at the time, I was um, in a bad place. I was I'd shut myself off from everyone. At least I tried to. And reason being is that I got out of one, or well, it wasn't really an official relationship, but I moved on from one relationship to another, rebounded. And that woman was older than me by quite a bit. So she was very controlling, demanding. She was physically and mentally abusive. And so I had to deal with that and many other things, and that's why I just didn't want to be bothered. Didn't want to be hurt by anyone else while I was already hurting. But this lady, um, she kept trying to get my attention, and she succeeded. All right. I Every time she would try to get my attention, I would always say something like that's weird. Something to try to just deter her from interacting with me, but it never worked. And eventually, I let her in. Like I said, she was the bright light in this dark room that I was in. That. What the fuck? Okay. That lit the doorway, the exit. And I'm getting all philosophical, but, you know, I've always thought of it that way, Ken. Yes. We would tease each other, we'd play fight, just all the things that two teenagers would do. Um, Anytime we said anything or did anything that hurt the other one, it was always unintentional, and we would always apologize profusely. Um, One time, she showed me a syringe pen that she got, and I kept trying to take it, just playing around with her, and then while we were struggling over dominion of the pen, it broke, and I broke it, and I felt horrible. And the reason I called her the pen lady wasn't because of that. It was because she used to stab me with pens. That one included. I do believe. But, not with intent to harm or anything. But yeah, I always apologized profusely anytime I ever did anything that would even inconvenience her, and she hated that. But, that's just my nature. Just throughout high school, I'd always thought, she's cute. You know, I'd like to, you know, go out with her someday, sometime. Or, well, yeah, I could go without. She's cute. She's nice. Just a little high school crush, nothing more. And I was still with that other woman at the time during during most of high school, I'd say. Um, reason being, trigger warning, by the way. She would always threaten to end her own life if I ever left. Which is, that's a lot, um, for what, a 16-year-old kid, you know? That's a lot for a 20-year-old woman. 20? 20? I don't remember. That's a lot for a 20-year-old woman to put on a kid, onto a kid, you know? And yeah, you know, she was a predator, as you could probably guess, seeing as how I was 16 and she was 20, around that age. But I do believe the age of consent in my state was 16, or is 16. So she could walk free, I guess. Anyways, one day I decided, I was looking at our school. We had to do service hours. So I was looking at one of the opportunities, and I was interested in doing service hours for that. But then I was like, you know what? No, I'm gonna do something better. So I texted the good old pen lady, and I was like, hey, do you want to come with me to this thing? And she agreed, um, to my surprise. This event was hosted in a park, and there were lanterns strung up, there was live music, there were booths, there was food, there was all sorts of stuff. There were drinks. And that day, I was so incredibly nervous. My fucking, I had no sense of style back then. But I was so nervous on how the day would go that when I got there, because I got there first and she was gonna arrive later. All I could think about was, fuck, what if it all goes wrong? Just, God, what am I even gonna do? What am I even gonna say? It's gonna be so fucking awkward. But then I saw her walk up to me, and all those feelings just disappeared. She was wearing this purple corset and purple skirt with stars and like moons, whatever on it. Um, and she was absolutely gorgeous. She was always the type of girl that never needed makeup to look beautiful. And I loved that about her. Um, and I think that was the moment that I fell in love with her. Though I might not have realized it then. Um, we then went the whole day, in the park, just buying stuff, eating food, listening to the music and whatnot. Um, and we had fun. I bought a little flower crown for myself, and I think I bought one for her as well. And I still have mine to this day. Never let it go. Never threw it away. It's not real flowers. It's like fucking. I don't even know. It's like foam, I think. But oh, God. Then when I went home, I kicked my shoes off. I laid on my bed, and I couldn't stop smiling. And as I drifted off into sleep, I told myself that I would do anything to make her happy, to give her the happiness that she deserved. And I am not making that up. I laid on my bed and I really did, fantasize about giving her the the world. But anyways, moving forward, I got bolder after that, and soon I wasn't scared anymore, and I said, you know what, fuck it, and I said, you can do whatever you want. If to the woman that was abusive and fucking a predator, that woman that I was dating, told her, you know what, I don't care what you do anymore, I'm leaving, and that was that. Um, it was hard for a few days, but since she was like a fucking, since she was fucking evil, I just, got over it quick. But I got bolder, and in October, I had asked her out to a concert of an artist that we both liked 6 months from that day, and she said yes. And God, I was so happy. Then came the next year, and I made it my New Year's resolution. I know, right? Um, to live my life with as little regrets as I possibly could. And I did that to the best of my ability. I, um, I started her. Oh God, what is happening? I started asking her to hang out with me more and more often. Um, since the school year was about to end, all that. And at prom, though I didn't ask her out, and that is a regret that I hold. Um, though I didn't ask her out to the dance, I did manage to have a slow dance with her, and it was amazing. And that day, she was also just, well, every day she always looked amazing, but that day she looked prettier than any star you could find in the night sky. This long, flowy, purple dress, her hair kind of like up in a, not a bun, not a bun, I don't even know. It was something. Her earrings, she was amazing. And when we danced, and I held her hand on my heart and looked into her eyes, I think I had realized that I had fallen in love with this girl. And then a few weeks later was the concert, and it was an amazing time as well. Um, and as we hung out more and more, we got closer. And then we got to where we were. Um, we dated for a little while. And it was amazing. Every time that I held her, every time I hugged her, my heart would beat at, I don't even fucking know, Mach 5. Yeah. But now I'm here. And she's not here anymore with me. And I don't think she'll ever come back. When she said that we shouldn't do this anymore, I didn't beg. I didn't tell her to give me another chance. I respected her decision, and I always will. But I cannot stop apologizing every, at least once or twice a month. Even though she needed space, I still just I couldn't bear I couldn't bear it. One thing that I had always asked her to do, and probably the only thing that I really, asked of her, was to not forget me. And she would always tell me, how could I forget the gum man? Because I would always give her gum whenever we'd see each other, even in high school. Um, how could I forget the gum man? I can never forget you. And I know she doesn't like it when her own words are used against her, but Jennifer, you gotta start taking responsibility for the things you say. Because I believed you. I had believed every word you told me. Um, but I guess to you I wasn't worth it. I was just temporary to her. I gave her everything I had in my heart, and she ended up giving me heartbreak. She used to make me so happy. She used to be the reason that I would wake up every day eager to just live my life because she made it all worth it. She was worth it, but I wasn't. And now, every time I go to sleep and I dream of her, and I wake up and she's not there. And I don't feel like I have much of a reason to get up, because I don't have any motivation to. And when I dream of her, they're dreams. I dream that I'm with her again. I'm holding her, she's holding me. And that one day she just texts me out of the blue saying that she wants to reconnect. And then I wake up and that's the real nightmare. The realization that she's not there and won't be. I've spent the last year since November 30th, 2024. A year without her. And I hope I hope I don't feel this way for long. And once again, if you are watching this, Jenny, I was in love